watching the nation's best college newscast. 11 News at Noon starts now.
Utopian nightmare. A deal with an internet provider has Orem swimming in debt. See how the city plans to stay afloat.
Reading rescue. Revenue issues spark controversy in Highland, and a library may be a casualty.
And Red Ribbon Alert. A program fights danger in the classroom, what Utah schools are doing to prevent another tragedy. I'm Randall Vaudry.
And I'm Mark Chalice. Welcome to 11 News at Noon. There's a major development in the Martin McNeil murder trial.
A second mistress testified in court today. Anna Walthall says she worked with McNeil while she was going through a divorce. She says the two began their affair in 2005 and carried on for a few months before she moved away. Walthall says while the two had pillow talk, McNeil told her he could induce a heart attack in someone that couldn't be detected.
Natural that's there after they have a heart attack so that it's not detectable after they have a heart attack.
Okay, so you can give someone some sort of substance that's
Yes.
naturally occurring in the body,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be there after the heart attack, but it would also start a heart attack.
Yes.
And so you could cause someone to have a heart attack, and the drug would supposed to be there anyway, and so you wouldn't be able to tell.
That's correct.
Walthall says she had dreams related to Michelle's death and thinks McNeil should be convicted. She also admitted to being diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder.
People in Orem are voting for a new mayor next week, and there's one big issue they want the new leader to handle. 11 News reporter Sam Hancock takes a look at this serious problem facing Orem.
Utopia means a community with desirable qualities, but for Orem, it's a decade-long cloud hanging over the city. Orem partnered with internet company Utopia to build a fiber optic network throughout the city in 2004. But now, Orem is swimming in debt.
It is. It's a big concern, isn't it? The elephant in the room.
Orem owes more than $100 million to the Utopia project and is struggling to pay the bills. The city missed the mark last year by $2.8 million. The other problem? People in Orem aren't jumping on the bandwagon. Only 23% of residents and 15% of businesses are paying for Utopia.
Money is so tight here at City Hall that they can't even afford to run their fountains in front of it.
In less than a week, Orem will have a chance to elect a new mayor, and both candidates are making Utopia their top priority.
This is our biggest and most serious problem. We need to deal with it. We need to deal with it now.
Both Brunst and Nichols say they want to pass off the burden of Utopia to a private company, like Provo did by partnering with Google Fiber, and then use the money to revitalize Orem and make it a more beautiful place to live.
I would like the fountains out in front of the city center to be running again.
And let the sun break through the clouds. From Orem, Sam Hancock, 11 News.
Orem will also vote on a property tax increase next week to help pay for the debt, but both candidates say they're against the tax hike and want to continue funding the Utopia through sales tax. Utah County Commissioners say they may need to raise taxes in the future if tax revenue continues to flatline. Commissioners say tax revenue has stayed the same for 3 years in a row, meaning the economy is still slowly recovering from the recession. The tentative budget for 2014 doesn't raise taxes yet, but that could change.
Highland City Library is the source of controversy in this year's city council elections. 11 News reporter Sydney Carlson shows us why the candidates are divided on how to fund the library and the reason two candidates say it may be in danger.
Among the clutter of seasonal campaign signs is a slogan that's getting a lot of attention in Highland. The city built the library 5 years ago, but two city council candidates say it may need rescuing. Ed Dennis and incumbent Scott Smith weren't available for an interview, but released a statement saying they started a Save the Library campaign to promote literacy without creating user fees or reducing the library's funding. These Save Our Library signs are posted all over Highland, but the question is, save the library from what? Dennis and Smith say their opponents will close the library or reduce funding if elected, but the other two candidates insist the library was not a part of their platform until the signs were posted around town.
Of course, yes, I've asked questions about it, but the same questions I would ask about any big budget item.
Candidate Rod Mann says the controversy comes from an email he sent the city council a year and a half ago. In the email, Mann gave ways the city could cut costs. He suggested closing the library, but said there were better ideas out there.
So because I asked questions, now I'm campaigning on close the library, which isn't true. And I am about giving people a voice.
Mann says if elected, he would host a public forum to get ideas on how to fund the library, but he doesn't want to get rid of it. In Highland, Sydney Carlson, 11 News.
All 4 city council candidates say they would like to see the library funded with private funds in the future rather than tax dollars. General elections for city council and mayor are on Tuesday.
Police have arrested a man in connection with the sexual assault of a woman at a Burger King in West Valley City. Police say 25-year-old Justin Lloyd Martinez may face rape charges, aggravated kidnapping, and assault. Authorities say Martinez followed a young woman into the bathroom of a Burger King where he physically and sexually assaulted her. Police say the victim grabbed his jacket and that it helped them identify her attacker. Police arrested a Davis High School teacher accused of having sexual relations with one of her students. Police say the 34-year-old Brienne Altice admits to having sex with a 17-year-old boy at least twice. The victim told police the two slept together more than 5 times since January and described the tattoos on Altice's body and the layout of her home.
And we are now just getting word of a Grantsville High School teacher who is facing charges of sexual acts in front of a child. Police say Salvatore DeGraffenwright and another man displayed lewd behavior while sharing a steam room with a 12-year-old boy. DeGraffenwright is not in custody but is suspended from teaching until the case concludes. As hundreds of people in Massachusetts mourn the loss of a teacher, students in Alpine School District are taking part in a Red Ribbon Week. 11 News reporter Sarah Chamberlain shows us how Red Ribbon Week helps to move kids in a positive direction.
Students who take part in Red Ribbon Week pledge against drugs and violence, and the school administration says it helps prevent problems in the future.
With recent school tragedies like the shooting in Nevada and the murder of a Massachusetts teacher, Alpine School District is making school safety a priority. District PR Director Kimberly Bird says when the nation sees a death on a school campus, it's important that it doesn't happen in Utah schools, and Red Ribbon Week helps do just that.
We've got to learn from what has happened in those circumstances and situations, and then make sure that we are then meeting as schools and within the school district to determine, do we have safeguards in place to help protect us from incidences like these.
The entire week is filled with activities that help kids say no to violence and drugs. Bird says it also makes students aware of harmful situations and how to deal with them. Hallways are decorated with posters reminding students to stick to the pledge. Orem Junior High teacher Derek Rentz says he always feels safe at school despite school deaths around the nation.
I also think we have a very good culture here at our school. Our counselors do a great job of reaching out to students, and so does our administration.
Rentz says getting kids involved in programs like Red Ribbon Week helps create a positive attitude, which prevents drugs and violence from appearing on campus.
Orem Junior High continues to help students be drug and violence free even after Red Ribbon Week. The school holds assemblies throughout the year to promote positive attitudes in their students. Randall?
Thanks, Sarah. Now, how would you spend your final days? The missing Kansas man found in a Utah ravine spent his last days writing goodbye letters to his wife and 4 sons. Police say David Welch left his Kansas home September 2nd for no apparent reason and never came home. After more than a month of searching, authorities found him dead in a desolate area of eastern Utah. Utah Highway Patrol says they will not share the details of his personal letters.
That's a tragic story.
Yeah, at least he had a chance to, say goodbye to his family and everyone.
When 11 News at Noon returns. An A in health. BYU adds another #1 ranking to his resume.
And a story of survival. One Utah boy fights a rare disease. See how he and his family are coping with this challenge. Stay with us.
A 7-year-old is battling cancer, leaving his parents stuck with paying out of pocket. 11 News reporter Matt Rascone shows us how the family is pulling together to overcome what seems like impossible odds.
Watching him go from where he was last year to where he is right now, it's been a challenge.
A challenge that 7-year-old Adler Utley is facing head-on. In March, doctors found a rare kidney cancer called Wilms tumor, so Adler's weeks are filled with chemo visits and radiation treatment, leaving him too wiped out to play.
How does it make you feel afterwards?
Yucky, bad, nauseous.
But not for much longer. His last treatment is just weeks away.
Yes.
Still, for his family,
And this has been completely uncharted territory.
it couldn't come soon enough.
1 minute he's doing great. The next minute it's like he's crashing. The next minute you're worried, like, is he gonna make it?
And to make matters worse, Adler's dad is self-employed.
I was overwhelmed.
The family has no health insurance.
I could not believe that this was happening to us.
Still, they're getting by.
I've always been a fan of striped socks. It's my own little way of sticking it to the man.
And it's rubbing off on Adler, who wears his striped socks to the hospital to help him feel brave. The tree that stands here in front of their home provides more than just shade. Since the beginning of his treatment, the family has been coloring it in yarn, because for Adler, it's the healing tree.
Just think positive thoughts.
Stripes aren't the only things helping little Adler.
It has been a tender mercy to see the goodness of people.
Family friend Chris Webb created the Hope for Adler Foundation.
It's just an honor to be able to serve and help a friend out.
It's raised more than $40,000 that would have otherwise come out of the parents' pockets.
What that's really done is freed me to be more focused on helping Adler heal.
The road to recovery can seem endless.
We're ready.
But Adler and his family are making the most of it. In Alpine, Matt Rascone,
Ready to go back in?
11 News.
Thanks, Matt. Adler goes in for his final chemotherapy treatment this month. Good for him.
BYU holds the title of most stone cold sober school, and now it has another, the healthiest. The Daily Beast website used drinking, drug use, and campus dining scores to rank the health of different colleges. Thanks to its honor code, BYU achieved a perfect 10 for the least amount of drinkers and drug users, and the food scored a 7.7 for healthiest campus dining.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and the Boy Scouts of America are celebrating their 100-year-old partnership. The LDS Church is the first organization to officially sponsor scouting, and in honor of the team-up, the two organizations held reenactments and video tributes at the LDS Conference Center. As part of the production, leaders awarded LDS Church President Thomas S. Monson with Scouting's Medal of Honor. Leaders also announced that a Scout Reserve in West Virginia will be renamed after him.
I love the Boy Scout organization and can think of nothing with which I would rather have my name associated than the Leadership Excellence Complex of this organization.
The event took place on the exact day 100 years ago that the two organizations announced they would be teaming up.
You know, I watched part of that, and the production value was amazing. Like, they basically turned the conference center into a scout camp, as you can tell from some of that video.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
With the weather we're getting pretty soon, Kathleen, it's going to be time for some Klondike campouts. Those ones really cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be here soon enough, but it won't be here for another couple of months here. I'll let you know more with 11 weather when we return. All right, right here we got some clouds coming in. Right now it looks a little overcast, but pretty soon that overcast is going to turn into some rain clouds. But right now in Provo, it is about 45 degrees with a humidity of about 66%. Not very much of a wind speed going on here. It's just pretty calm and still, but that might change as we go on later on tonight. And later on tonight, we're some scattered showers here going on in Provo with a low of about 33 degrees, and so it'll be just a little bit cold and a little bit wet here going on. And then throughout the rest of the state, it's overcast throughout the rest of the state except for, of course, in St. George, but it's and even in Wendover, it's actually pretty sunny out. But it's overcast, and every city, it's about 30 to a 40% chance of rain and some showers. But in Moab, there's a slight chance of some thunderstorms happening. So I would watch out. So I'd be watching out for those. Later on, as we go into St. George throughout the rest of this week, right today actually in St. George, just a few clouds going on right now. But however, on Thursday in time for Halloween, it'll clear up to go out trick-or-treating, and then the sun and the temperatures will show up later on throughout the rest of the week, and it'll be nice and sunny in St. George. Northern Utah, we've got some rain happening here on Wednesday, and then Thursday, it won't be raining on Thursday and for Halloween. However, it'll be 40 degrees that night, so I'd recommend if you are planning on going trick-or-treating, maybe bundle up a little bit. And then Friday, for all of you who celebrate Dia de los Muertos or Day of the Dead, it'll be nice, just a few clouds in the air, and then the rest of the weekend, nice and sunny.
Looks like some pretty solid fall weather for both of the Halloween and Dia de los Muertos.
Yes.
Yeah,
Or
it'll be
Day of the
good.
Dead if you
Yeah.
don't speak Spanish.
And what's more, you might be able to get one more game of golf in, so that's good.
Possibly.
That would be nice.
Skylar, so speak about that one more game of golf. There's some people going to Hawaii for golf from BYU.
That's right. I don't know if it's still golfing weather. Kathleen and you think maybe one more round, but our girls team went ahead and took a plane out to Hawaii to get some golfing this weekend. Also, we've got basketball coming back. The Miami Heat have been reigning champions since June of 2011. Find out if they could beat the Bulls to start the new season. And grounded birds. I'll tell you how long the Cards were stuck in St. Louis while the Red Sox were in Boston prepping for Game 6 of the series. Sports is next. Stay. Leah Garner from the Cougars women's golf team is tied for first place after one round at the Rainbow Wahine Invitational. A 73 one-over earned her the top spot. Her teammate, Salu Fotu, is tied for ninth, but sits just 2 strokes out of the lead. As a whole, BYU isn't doing quite as well. The Cougs are 13 strokes off the lead and sit in 5th place out of 8 teams. The ladies are scheduled to tee off for round 2 within the hour. The tourney will wrap up on Thursday. No matter the outcome, the girls are playing golf in 80-degree Hawaii, so it sounds like a win to me. Flight delays happen to everyone, even teams in the World Series. This is the St. Louis Cardinals plane grounded for more than 7 hours last night in St. Louis by mechanical problems. Finally, another plane was sent to take the Cards to Boston for Game 6 of the World Series. Boston leads the series 3-2. Babe Ruth, it's David Ortiz, they're easy to confuse nowadays, understands his opponent's plight.
I don't know, man. Everything happened for a reason. Me, normally, when I have a delay on the fly, I don't get mad. Because, you don't play around with that. Hopefully they get here safe.
As baseball prepares to call it a year, the NBA is just getting started. With 3 games to start the season last night, let's just go ahead and fly through a whirlwind of highlights.
Some are already calling this a preview to the Eastern Conference Finals. Chicago at Miami. Derrick Rose is back after a season of rehab, and he's stripped. Heat strike first. Can they still score in transition in Miami? LeBron James and Dwayne Wade say yes. Former Jazzman Carlos Boozer tries to get the Bulls back in it, trailing by 10 with 3 minutes to go. Pretty move, but it isn't enough. The Heat close out the Bulls 107-95. From Florida to Indiana, we work west. Rumor has it Paul George is ready to be a superstar. Here's the 3 steps that will get him there. Step 1, create your own shot. Well, and he does that, knocking down the fadeaway. Step 2, hit the 3 ball, preferably at the buzzer. And the trade comes in transition. Indiana is up by 5 to start the 4th. The final step, play big defense. And that's a monster block. Sounds like PG is on his way. Pacers win 97-87. Let's wrap the NBA night on the West Coast. Kobe Bryant watching as the Lakers host the stadium rival Clippers. The Clips and Blake Griffin tell the league, we know transition basketball better than you. Griffin floats and throws down. In the 4th, the Lakers turn to the bench for a barrage of threes. Xavier Henry knocks it down. That's part of his career-high 22. Wesley Johnson adds another. The Lakers pull away as the starters watch the last 15 minutes in L.A. Lakers win 116-103.
And it will be our local NBA ballers' turn tonight. Kevin Durant and the Oklahoma City Thunder roll into town and tip off the season against the Utah Jazz. Both teams will be without their starting point guards as Jazz rookie Trey Burke is still recovering from a broken finger that he suffered during the preseason. I'm really looking forward to that game. I'll be there tonight to watch Kevin Durant.
Nice.
It's a tough draw to play the Thunder on the first game of the season.
Yeah, it'll definitely be rough for the Jazz.
It could be a long night, but I'm excited anyhow.
Awesome.
Thanks, Skylar.
Thanks, Skylar. Still to come on 11 News at noon. Have a cowboy, don't you? An Arkansas heifer didn't have just one, but 3 of them. We'll be right back.
Well, move over, baby pandas, because there's a new set of triplets in town. These bucking baby bulls gave their mama quite the ride as she gave birth to her triplet calves. Ranchers tagged the trio as babies A, B, and C, and can truly say their mom is one of a kind. Well, she's at least 1 in 700,000. Both heifer and babies are doing well and will be introduced to the rest of the herd later this week. Now that's a lot of beef.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's probably good that they just tagged them as A, B, and C instead of giving them names, because once you give something a name, you can't eat it.
I'd have a hard enough time keeping them straight as is. I figure A, B, and C, if they mix it up, the cows won't be offended.
They look the same anyways. It's 11 News at noon for Wednesday, October 30th.
You can join us anytime on our website, 11news.byu.edu.
Thanks for watching and have a great afternoon.